We reckon we might have seen a new champion yesterday, Never Undercharge, winning the Stradbroke Handicap. Talking about Cox Plates, maybe taking on the whole world. Keith Hillier, what's your feeling about Never Undercharge?
Oh, I think he's a very exciting horse, Bruce. Only 10 or 11 starts. He's won 7. His stakes have gone past $500,000. But it's far too premature to be talking about the Cox Plate. I mean, no Stradbroke Handicap winner, to my records, has won a Cox Plate. In the same season, Kingster won a Cox Plate in 1957 after winning a Stradbroke Handicap. And back in the 20s, Highland won 2 Stradbrokes and later won a Cox Plate, but never in the same season. So don't get too carried away about this fellow. He's very good, but a Cox Plate's a different deal.
What was Highland impressive in the Cox Plate? You were probably there that day in about 28, were you?
Bruce, all I know about Highland, thanks for reminding me about it. My knowledge of Highland has been passed on from you.
Well, Wayne, your feelings about Never Undercharge, and I mean, Keith's given the Stradbroke a little bit of a sobering touch there, and do you think this horse can go all the way and win the greatest race for the greatest horses in Australia?
Yes, I do. Keith, I'll argue with you. I think Never Undercharge is the ideal horse for a race like the Cox Plate. He's a bit raw at the moment, but a raw horse winning a Stradbroke Handicap as he did yesterday, 2/10 of a second outside of the record, and he went to the line with his head on his chest, 4 lengths in advance of the opposition. He's the ideal type of horse for a Cox Plate. He's got a great turn of foot, tremendous acceleration. Look out that he doesn't win the Cox Plate this coming spring. He's a very good horse, and imagine the improvement that the horse is going to take. Now, I said before that he's a raw horse. Imagine the improvement he's going to take between now and Cox Plate time. I think Cox Plate Day, you'll be on this program, Keith Hillier, saying, well, I shouldn't have said that back in the winter.
Well, this very day I'd like to have a shilling on the side about that, Wayne.
Oh, well, even money, Keith, at this stage for the Cox Plate. Give him 100 to 1. They're the right odds.
I'll give you even money about him being in the field at this stage.
Wayne...
I'll take that. I'll take that.
How many Stradbrokes have you called?
I've done about 12 now.
How does this one rate? Well, how many have you seen, I guess? How does this horse rate, do you think?
He rates up there with the best of them. Campaign King, I was thrilled to see Campaign King win the Stradbroke Handicap as easily as he did. Now, this fellow's performance yesterday, I think, ranks up there with Campaign King. Now, he was a great sprinter, Campaign King. He carried a lot more weight than Never Undercharge did yesterday. That's a sobering thought about the performance yesterday. He had no weight. But also bear in mind that the horse never got on the track from his gate yesterday. He covered a heap of extra ground. He was 4 deep for the trip. I thought in the early stages he'd got in 1 off the fence. He was racing outside of 1 horse, Pharaoh. But I had a close look at the steward's footage of the race, and he was 4 deep for the trip. Have a look at him coming around the home turn. He's 6 deep. And when he let him loose in the straight, he just bounded away from them. This is a good horse. This is a good horse.
There's a couple of things to watch in the run. Kiwi Golfer's performance. He flashes home to finish 6th. Rough Habit had a checkered run. Kiwi Golf, incidentally, is backing up in the Brisbane Cup tomorrow. But the ride of Stephen King was a fantastic ride, as Wayne said, to do what he did. OK,
judge for yourself. Let's have a look at Never Undercharge's great performance in the Stradbroke.
Good start, except for Rough Habit, who missed the kick and he dropped to the tail of the field, and Victory Dias was the first out. Ensign Hewitt began quickly there, the first 2 on settling. Chortle gets to 3rd, but he's a little bit deep around Mignana. Unequal came out brilliantly, getting to 5th on the inside, being followed by Overpitch, and Depositions up with that leading division with Bucks Pride. Kiwi Golfer about 9th on the inside, then Ken Fair, Dan Jicky, Never Undercharges, got over from his wide alley, the Pacer Cracker. Then Pharaoh, Skylock, Majestic Boy, Rough Habit, Blonde and Meg's Ego, Excited Angel, tailed off Cool Credit. 800 out, Victory Dias, the leader ahead to Chortle, a length and a half, Ensign Hewitt. They're closely being followed by Unequaled on the inside, then Minyama, there's Bucks Pride and Overpitches wide. They're closely being followed by Kiwi Golfer, Ken Fair, Deposition looking for the way out. Never Undercharges gone up about 8th on the home turn, just behind those. Pharaoh's a long way back, and Rough Habit's looking for ground with Blonde and then Excited Angel. Chortle led 400 out from Victory Dias, followed by Ensign Hewitt. Overpitch coming on the outside, Dan Jika running home. Pharaoh can't get out. Here comes Never Undercharge. He's given full bore on the outside. 250 out. Chortle the leader. Never Undercharge. Stephen King gathered in the reins. The 3-year-old burst to the lead with 100 metres left to go. Are we looking at the next sprinting champion of Australia? Sure we are. Never Undercharge. Shades of Divide and Rule, won by 4 lengths to either Dan Jiki. Pharaoh's in a photo with Deposition, Rough Habit.
Well, Stephen King can judge a good horse. He's ridden Let's Elope to win Melbourne Cups. He's been on Star of the Realm to win a Derby. Golden Sword's another horse who's probably going along similar lines as Never Undercharge. And yesterday, Paddy Welsh went to the track. He spoke to Stephen about his tactics in the Stradbroke.
Well, you know, it helps if you've got the horse underneath her, and the race did pan out the way I would have liked it to. So, you know, things went my way, and I was able to keep getting runs.
How do you rate this horse?
I think he's a very exciting horse, and he's only going to improve. The way, you know, when you come and beat horses like that today by 4 lengths, you've got to be an exceptional sort of horse to do that.
Likes a bit of room to move, this horse?
Well, he's still got a lot to learn. You know, he never really was balanced up, and he was never on the bit, so he obviously needs a bit of racing, and you know, that win today is going to doing the world of good for confidence too.
And having Bart as a trainer won't hurt. And just briefly, as we wrap up the Stradbroke, your thoughts on Rough Habit's performance yesterday, trying for a third one, Wayne?
Yes, it was a great performance by Rough Habit. He jibbed a little bit at the start. He raced in blinkers for the first time. And Jimmy Cassidy said horses can do that from time to time. They can just hesitate a little bit. But he ran on courageously in the straight, and he was right there on the heels of the place getters. In fact, Jimmy protested against the 4th horse Deposition to try and sneak him up one closer, but that protest was dismissed. A great performance under the circumstances by Rough Habit. He's still a great champion in my mind.
Yes, he's done a lot for racing, particularly in Queensland. Shane Dye's ride yesterday in the Derby on Air Seattle.
Oh, one of the best ever. We praised him after his ride on Slight Chance in the Oaks the week before, but yesterday he just nicked him at the start, pulled him back behind them, got him straight over onto the rails. He found the fence from gate 15 in 50 yards, and then he was just improving his position all the time up along the inside. He took the odds to getting a run in the home straight, but good jockeys make their own luck, don't they? And he made his own luck in the straight. He got into the clear, burst out after them, and had the Derby well and truly won at the 100-metre point.
It really was a copybook ride, and it gave Air Seattle the win he deserved. He'd been second in the Australian Guineas, third to Innocent King in the AJC Derby. Watch Shane Dye's ride. Remember, this is barrier 15. He had him on the fence in midfield, and even the chief stipendiary steward, Ray Murray, praised Dye for his courage in getting that rails run in the straight.
As they come to the 600 square, the circle, Licenzioso tracking up behind them, they're backing. Furbolg's going around the outside, followed by Universal Law. Further back, Royal Tiara shuffle back, and so too is Slanchivar as they come to the bend. 450 to go, play or pay first for Home Pellet, the outside from Bourbon Beat. Square the circle, about to cut out the Irish Rort, looking for the run on the fence. Air Seattle can't get through from Dollars and Gold, and then Furbolg and Licenzioso. Pellet in front, 300 out of the Derby, play or pay on the rails, and Irish Rort. Air Seattle's bursting out of the ruck now. Air Seattle coming after Pellet. Irish Rort the inside. Solanchi Varan full of dreams. Air Seattle, Shane Dye's greatest ride. Air Seattle takes the lead. He wins the Derby. Air Seattle from Pellet. Third's a photo, play or pay or Irish Rort with Solanchi Var.
Yes, the classic went to Air Seattle and Shane Dye, and it was applauded by punters. 3s to 9 to 4, never under charge, also landed some massive bets. So the favourites won the 2 feature races in Queensland yesterday.
And Wayne, your assessment of the quality of the performance. He's won the Grand Prix double, like Dorset Downs did for Dye a couple of years ago. Do you think he might go on? We're talking Caulfield Cups with this fellow.
See, he's always been a difficult horse, this horse. He's unsettled in his races. He pulls pretty hard, and he's mixed his form a little bit. But he's really matured, as so many horses do when they come to Queensland for the Winter Carnival. So many horses mature up here, and the experience that he's gained here in the top competition, I think he's a top-class horse, Air Seattle. Now, I wouldn't be talking about Cox Plates with Air Seattle, but he is a top-class horse.
The local colt Palate boxed on well. Wayne, is he going to line up again tomorrow in the Cup?
Yes, I spoke to Bruce McLaughlin this morning. He did well overnight, and he will be running in the Brisbane Cup tomorrow. He's a real dyed-in-the-wool stayer. He's just, I guess, 1 length short of being a good horse, Pellet, but I don't think this is the greatest Brisbane Cup field that we've ever seen tomorrow. So Pellet, with nothing on his back and a 3-year-old, rock solid as he is, he's in there with a chance tomorrow.
He's a non-winner though, Wayne, isn't he? He's won 1 race, hasn't he?
Well, he's looking a little bit that way. He's still a Class 1 horse, you're right. He's won the 1 race, and he's just failed to produce, but he's always there. He's always around the money. One of these days he'll break through, and then he'll continue on his winning way. But at the moment, he's finding it just a little difficult, Bruce. Looking
at the market, Dark's our favourite, Royal Magic being scratched last week, as we told you. Where do you think the winner will come from? And Kiwi Golfer's, I guess, one of the most interesting runners, having run yesterday.
Well, his run yesterday in the Stradbroke was amazing. I'm a little concerned Kiwi Golfer at 3,200 metres, even though he's got 3,200 metre form. He ran 45 for the first 800 metres of the Stradbroke yesterday, and he was up there mixing it with them, and he was just behind them in the straight and didn't get a clear go in the straight. The last 300 metres he was held up for a run. Now, can a horse from 1,400 metres one day, 48 hours back up and run in 3,200 metres and not go a little keenly in the run? A horse called Timor, there is a precedent. Back in, well, the late 50s sometime, 57, whenever Wiggle won the Stradbroke handicap, A horse called Timor ran 6th. That's where this horse ran yesterday, and he came out 2 days later and won the Brisbane Cup. So there is a precedent there. Look, Kiwi Golfer is a class galloper, but I'm just a little concerned that he might go a little keenly over the 3,200 metres. I'm sticking with Dark Czar. I think he's had a beautiful preparation for the Brisbane Cup, and it will be a real rags to riches story if he can win for Connections. Originally purchased for just $700, and here he is competing at Brisbane Cup level tomorrow.
Keith?
I think the one you just put a bit of a knock on might win, the 3-year-old Palais. Bruce, I liked the run yesterday, and it's a good time of the year for 3-year-olds too.
It is a good time of the year. Now, the Melbourne Cup's coming up pretty shortly. We haven't given you a tip just yet. I'm just holding off, but the situation is the countdowns commence. The weights are on July 25th. $100 Connections have had to pay for 427 horses, and I've got one in the Cup this year. He won't make it there, though. I don't think he's good enough. And the first declarations, I'm not sure if I'll find the 200, Keith, on September the 8th. That's all. Catch you next week, Keith.
Yeah, look forward to that. We've got the international jockeys at Flemington tomorrow, to the ladies.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And Wayne, good calling for the Cup tomorrow in the Castlemaine, and we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you very much, Bruce.
I reckon he's a good judge, Wayne Wilson. Watch for Never Undercharge in the Cox Plate. We take you to Beijing after this, talking Olympic bid, the big decision made in September.